Philippine News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Dani Laurel. Senators have condemned the latest harassment of Chinese ships on Philippine vessels last Friday. In a statement, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri reminded the Chinese Coast Guard that their government's claims to the West Philippine Sea has been disproved by the 2016 Hague ruling. He also argued that China cannot justify their attack as a form of self-defense when their ships are larger and more advanced than our vessels. Meanwhile, Senator J.V. Ejercito pushed the government to adopt their resolution that recommends courses of action regarding China's harassment. This includes filing a resolution before the United Nations seeking for cessation of all activities violating the country's established rights in the West Philippine Sea. Senator Risa Hontiveros expressed hope that the incident would further convince the Congress to approve a higher budget for the intelligence funds for agencies with roles in national security. One expert expects the Philippine economy to expand further in the last quarter of 2023. RCBC's chief economist Michael Ricafort noted that economic activities in the country have picked up. In fact, Ricafort added the country's third quarter gross domestic product would have been higher if it were not for high inflation. The GDP last quarter grew by 5.9%. That's faster than the 4.3% growth in the second quarter.
Ngayon naman, nag-pick up na po pag third quarter. Kasi piniprepare po yung fourth quarter, yung holiday season. Yan po kasi yung pinakamalaking spending. Had it not been for the increase in rice prices, ang naambag niya kasi essentially nasa 1.2 percentage points. Ang inflation natin na 4.9%, had it not been for the increase in rice prices, dapat nasa 3.7% lang. Di ba nakaambag din yung pagtaas ng presyo ng langis?
With this, Ricafort sees the Philippine economy expanding by at least 6.5% in the last quarter of the year.
Halos wala pong malaking bagyo mula noong Oktubre. Kaya biglang yung inflation bumaba din. Bumaba na rin po yung world price ng rice. Hopefully, masustain yan. Ito, Nobyembre, Disyembre.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. Did you know that giving money to the homeless is actually illegal under the law? But to help the homeless, the Social Welfare Department has enhanced its Oplan Pag-abot. Laila Pangilinan with this story.
Jomer and his pregnant wife, Micaela, lives in this small wooden cart along with their 2 kids. The couple happily showed off some clothes and feeding bottles that were given to them by some kind-hearted people. They said that even a month's worth of begging couldn't buy baby essentials, as they still have 2 more mouths to feed.
Isa 200 na po.
Jomer admitted that he never went to school and that he couldn't read or write. He used to work as a construction worker to put food on the table. But now that Micaela is 6 months on her way to giving birth, he was left with no choice but to ask alms from motorists.
Hindi ko na po inuwan, buntis siya ba mamaya. Siyempre, mapaaway siya.
Brex and Jack often give alms to the poor, but they said that they often give away food instead of money.
Pagka pera kasi parang bibili nila ng bisyo, gano'n. Pagkain na lang ibibigay namin. Pwede po nila kasing bili yun ng hindi mga magandang bagay.
Both men couldn't help but feel frustrated whenever beggars would instead ask for money.
Nakakalungkot kasi pagkain na hindi ba't tatapon?
Jomer explained why money is more essential than food.
Kasi gusto po namin ng pera. Kasi sa pagkain na po. Kasi kung ano, mabibili namin gusto namin. Sige.
Meanwhile, Mary Jane and her husband, who also live in another small wooden cart, opted to dig through piles and piles of garbage just to earn a living.
Nakakahiya kasi sa tao eh. Kaya yan na yung ginawa namin.
Mas okay na.
At least wala ka mahihi sa tao.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development reminded the public that giving money to street dwellers and the homeless is punishable under Presidential Decree number 1563, or anti-mendicancy law, which has been in effect since 1978. Those who give alms to beggars may face a 20 peso fine, while beggars themselves could face fines of up to 1,000 pesos or a maximum of 4 years in prison. To aid the homeless, the DSWD has enhanced its Oplan Pag-abot program.
Bawal po kami tumanggi. Responsibilidad po namin na ibigay yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan na mahihirap.
Under the program, the homeless may opt to go back home to their provinces, while Jomer and his family opted to go with the DSWD. Mary Jane and her husband would still rather reside in their small wooden cart here in Metro Manila.
Nasanay na din ay sa hirap. Ito yung namin eh. Peha na.
The Social Welfare Department maintained that those who will be sent home to their provinces will be provided a livelihood. The LGU will also play a part in ensuring that those sent home will have a better life.
Sila po yung magmo-monitor. Yung mga pinapauwi po natin sa probinsya, binibigyan po natin yan ng pondo po, ng assistance, up to 50,000 peso na puhunan.
The DSWD encourages the public to report beggars and homeless people asking for alms on the streets so that they may be assisted through the enhanced Oplan Pag-abot. For News 5, Laila Pangilinan, we are One News.
More and more people are calling on Israel to do more to protect Palestinian civilians amid their ongoing attacks on the Gaza Strip. The details in this video by the Associated Press.
And this is the last moment for the people in the ICU, the neonatal ICU. If nobody put a pressure to stop this aggression and to provide some electricity and water to the hospital, people in ICU, people in the neonatal ICU, they will face death soon.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Danny Laurel. We are One News.